Tehran is under pressure. As the air campaign enters a critical phase, the Middle East stands at a dangerous crossroads. Good evening. Tonight we examine the rapidly escalating conflict between Iran and the combined forces of the US and Israel. For 6 days, a relentless air campaign has targeted military and infrastructure sites across the Islamic Republic. Casualty figures are mounting. Preliminary data indicates over 1,200 fatalities within Iran alone as the violence spreads. In the capital, the situation is increasingly dire. Reports from the ground confirm missiles have struck areas near 2 schools. The heart of the country is feeling the weight of the siege, with normal life grinding to a halt under the threat of further strikes. Communication has become a primary casualty. The Iranian government has blocked internet access, leaving millions in an information vacuum. But Tehran is not just defending. In a significant escalation, Iran has fired missiles at neighboring Gulf nations. Explosions have been reported in Doha and near U.S. bases in Iraq as the conflict spills across international borders. The U.S. and Israel continue to coordinate their strikes, maintaining a high-tempo offensive designed to degrade Iran's military capabilities. Diplomatic ties are also fracturing. The arrest of a suspected IRGC cell in Qatar has strained relations with one of Iran's closest partners. Analysts warn this troubled trail of intelligence and arrests could cause a permanent divide in Gulf security cooperation. In Washington, the strategy is becoming clearer. Analysts suggest the endgame is no longer just containment, but regime change. However, experts caution that air power alone may be insufficient to dismantle the Iranian political system without ground forces. While top Iranian officials warn that U.S. troops would be disgraced if they invade, the prospect of a ground war looms over the region. Adding to the complexity, the U.S. is reportedly rallying various Kurdish groups to open a secondary front against Tehran. But history serves a darker warning here. Previous attempts to leverage these alliances have often led to tragic betrayals. Across the Atlantic, Europe is failing to present a united front. The bloc is deeply divided over how to respond to the war. Spain in particular has emerged as a vocal critic, with its socialist president locked in a war of words with Washington. The US has responded with threats to cut trade ties, further isolating those European allies who refuse to support the campaign. Beneath the geopolitical maneuvering lies a human rights crisis. Civilians are bearing the brunt of the hardship as resources dwindle. Fuel shortages and rising economic hardship are pushing the Iranian population to the edge, even as the bombs continue to rain down. Some EU leaders are expressing solidarity with the Gulf states, rallying around the concept of mutual defense against Iranian retaliation. Ukraine has also entered the conversation, with President Zelensky seeking U.S. support against the Iranian-made drones used in Russia's war. As we track the death toll, the numbers continue to climb. At least 11 casualties are reported in Israel, and 6 U.S. soldiers have been killed. What comes next is uncertain. Will this remain an air-based campaign, or are we witnessing the opening stages of a much larger war? Analysts are watching Moscow and Beijing, both of whom have so far kept their distance from the direct conflict. The rules-based order is under threat. The outcomes of the next few weeks will define regional security for decades to come. We will continue to monitor the situation on the ground. For now, Tehran remains a city and a nation under immense pressure. Stay tuned for further updates as this story develops. Thank you for joining us.